inverse trigonometric functions. We want to make some review from pre-algebra. Everybody knows SOHCAHTOA. Let me take the quadrant here, and I take acute triangle OAB, and let me say A is the point XY, so then AB is Y and OB is X. Now easily you can find OA, which is the hypotenuse. With the Pythagorean you can easily find this is x squared plus y squared square root. Now sine of this, let me call it alpha. So sine alpha will be y over, or you can just say AB over OA, which we know opposite is AB and then hypotenuse is OA. That's why opposite over hypotenuse. And this one you can say AB is y, and this one is square root of x squared plus y squared. Same way you can find cosine alpha, which is OB adjacent over the hypotenuse OA. So you get x over square root of x squared plus y squared, and tangent alpha will be opposite over adjacent OA. So opposite is y, adjacent is x. Also you know this is sine alpha over cosine alpha. So next we'll produce sine, cosine and tangent for different angles. So let me write here 0, then you have pi by 6, or you can call it 30, pi by 4 is 45, pi by 3 is 60, and pi by 2 will be 90. Now when I'm doing sine, so the first we write like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we divide by 4. And then we take the square root. So now 0 over 4 is square root. This is basically just 0. So you can write here 0. Now 1 over 4 is square root, which is half. So write it here. Then 2 over 4 is square root will give you radical 2 over 2. And this one will give you radical 3 over 2. And this one is giving you just 1. So these are all my sine values. Now the cosine values will be from opposite direction. You write first 1, then you write radical 3 over 2, then radical 2 over 2, then 1/2, and then 0. So these are your sine cosine values. Now when you divide your sine value by cosine, you get tangent, so you get 0 here. This divided by this will give you 1 over radical 3, so you can say radical 3 over 3. This divided by this will give you 1, this divided by this will give you radical 3, and this is undefined. So now watch carefully. You see sine pi by 6 is same as cosine pi by 3. Pi by 3 and pi by 6, these are complementary angles. And then if you see here, sine pi by 6 is half and cosine pi by 3 is also half. So then you can say sine inverse 1/2 pi by 6 and cosine inverse 1/2 is pi by 3. And you can check other values like sine, say pi by 3 should be same as cosine pi by 6, and which is radical 3 over 2. And then sine inverse radical 3 over 2 is pi by 3, and cosine inverse radical 3 over 2 will be pi by 6. Keep all this in mind. Now we'll go to the next step. Other inverse function forms look like this for sine cosine. So when you write sine inverse negative x, this is same as negative sine inverse x, because sine function is odd function. Same way, tangent negative x will be negative tan inverse x. And then cosine inverse negative x will be pi minus cosine inverse x. These results are really useful. You will see in the next examples. We'll check these three values. So sine inverse negative half, we know that it is negative sine inverse half. So sine inverse half, you can see from here, pi by 6. So it will be negative pi over 6. For cosine inverse negative 1, first you write pi minus cosine inverse 1. So cosine inverse 1, you can see, is at 0. So cosine inverse will be 0. So we just say pi minus. Now tan inverse will give you negative tan inverse x, and we know that my x is actually 1. I'm sorry, in this case. So this. So tan inverse 1 is pi by 4. You can see here. It's at pi by 4. So that's why your answer is negative pi by 4, and you're done.